Welcome. And we are live. So we are going to give everyone an opportunity to jump on and show us some love. In the meantime, I am also on my end sending out alerts as well on my Instagram as well, trying to let
We'll do that
everyone
as
know to
well.
go on our link and make sure that everybody is able to hear us, and we will be good to go. Hello, everyone. Give an opportunity for some people to jump on. Let's give us a little bit of music, see what we can do with it as well. Sorry. So I usually give people about 5 to 7 minutes, sometimes depending on, everybody's a little different, but I give them an opportunity to log on so we don't miss anybody. Um, Sorry, I'm trying to make sure that this is good. So, um, any requests for a little bit of music?
um,
I try to
how
always
about
try
some
to
Black Parade by Beyonce?
some Beyonce. What you want to hear from
Black
Beyonce?
Parade, Black Parade.
Oh yes, I would love that. Black Parade. And let me actually just make sure that because people actually usually get on my live on Instagram. So let me just make sure that's not the case as well and get
Yeah.
everybody over here. So let's do it. Let's see. We'll go live over there. That way we can get the double shebang bang as well. All right. All right.
You live on it's Facebook?
I believe so. It should be streaming through both from my understanding.
I don't see it.
On Facebook. So are you
Or
under on your mortality page or are you on my personal page?
oh, right.
Yeah, unfortunately it's under it should hopefully I'm hoping it shows under there. And welcome. Just jumping on here to let you know that we are currently live on YouTube. So we need you to jump on with us so that you don't miss this great conversation. Make sure that you are clicking the link in the bio and making sure that you are clicking the YouTube link and jumping on with me and Brittany. This is a time you don't want to miss. So I'm just jumping on here now to let you know. Make sure that you are clicking the link in the bio, either clicking the link in on your mortality or clicking the link in the death care joint, and it will take you to our live YouTube stream. We can't wait to share the amazing information that we have ahead of you. We also have some great recipes to share with you as well. So make sure that you are jumping on. Make sure that you are meeting us over on YouTube now. We are live and we've got some great information for you guys. Again, just a reminder, you are clicking the link that's in the bio and you are clicking the YouTube icon to take you directly to the YouTube page. And we are here excited with some great information. So make sure you jump on. We'll see you then. So we'll give them an opportunity to come on and then we'll get started. Um, I'm asking myself just as a double, should we, do you have your other phone? You want to still go
Mhm.
live on Instagram too? We can still go
I
live
think
on
we should.
Instagram too.
Mhm.
Huh? All right.
I think we should.
Okay, I think so too. So let's do it. And I'll tap you in. I'll meet you on there. So we can get a dynamic duo. However, we got to get them, we're going to get them.
Mm-hmm.
Are you able to still see me right now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm just making sure because I forgot I have to read something, so I'm going to email it on there. Everybody, make sure you're either jumping on here on Instagram with us and or making sure that you are touching base with us in the link in the bio and jumping on our live YouTube. We are excited and got some great news for you. Please make sure that you are joining. We are excited and have some great news. Also, make sure checking that you have your 3. Remember, you are required to have 3 people that are present with you for the live. So if you don't see them on there, make sure that you are tagging them in. All right. Share to good to go with that. All right, I'm adding you on, Britt. Oh, you gotta send me a request and then I can let you on. Welcome. Giving everyone an opportunity to jump on today. Excuse me. Happy Sunday. Encouraging everyone to make sure that you are ready for some great information, making sure that you are tagging in your family and friends. If you don't see them on here with you, please make sure that you are tagging them in to join us. Britt, did that allow you to come over? Oh, there you are. All righty. I can see you now. Welcome, Britt. So we have you. So we are now live on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So we're hoping that we are able to get in connection with everyone, however we need to meet you. So we're hoping and happy and excited. Again, just reminding, make sure that you have your family and friends on here. You're tapping on. All right. Bear with us 1 second. We are getting everything set up for you guys.
It kicked me out.
I see. I'm sorry. I was over here trying to fix the. All right, it should be better now. All right. I don't know if it is the Wi-Fi. I think we should be good. Is it still kicking you out on Instagram, Britt? Or are you good to go?
Yeah. I'm gonna try it one more time.
Okay. If not, we will just roll with this YouTube and get started.
All right. Yeah.
All right, so it says that it is reconnecting on my end as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm
You
not
know how these
sure
things.
what's going on.
You know what they.
Yeah, we're just gonna roll with the punches. You know how technology goes
What they
sometimes.
say.
Well, welcome, everyone, and happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. I want to give you the opportunity and just thank you guys for coming back and joining us for have a conversation with your family. Dinner, Sunday dinner at Granny's House edition. So for the people who are joining us again for the second, the third, and/or fourth time, we appreciate you all. Anyone who is joining us for the first time, we appreciate you as well, and we welcome you. Just to give a little background, we monthly are doing a live that is encouraging individuals to talk about things that they difficult things with their family. A lot of times there are things that we need to discuss and talk about in life that a lot of times are difficult for us. So most times we tend not to actually talk about these things and figure out, hey, it's easier not to talk about them when they're actually the opposite. So one of the things that is, giving us an opportunity is to have things such as this to say, hey, let's actually have some tips. Let's talk about some things to maybe make this maybe a little bit more comfortable. In addition to, we also are bringing on different specialties of guests that are sharing different information as well with us. So I'd be remiss if I first and foremost wanted to start off and kick off this month with this beautiful queen, Mrs. Brittany Smalls. Mrs. Brittany Smalls is near and dear to me, but she is also a powerhouse in the community. So it would be, of course, most fitting that, of course, with our election that is coming up November 2nd, that we bring her on and give her an opportunity to share some jewels with us, of course, about the importance of voting, but also share about some things that we are going to talk about grief. We're also going to just talk about, again, what are opportunities for us to talk about our family with both voting as well as making future plans and moving forward. So further ado, I would love to introduce to you Mrs. Brittany Smalls. She is a political activist and organizer. So I want to definitely welcome her to the Zoom, and I know she's going to share some great information. Before I do have her jumpstart on this Zoom this live as well, one of the things that we, of course, every Sunday talk about is what are we eating for dinner? Reason being is that we want to also take an opportunity to redirect and change the narrative. I'm not sure about you guys, or even Brittany, you can definitely speak about this, but we grew up sitting at the dinner table with our parents or our grandparents, and we are realizing that a lot of times now no one is sitting at the table anymore. No one is breaking bread. Nobody is sharing these rich and amazing recipes with family members anymore. In addition to, we say that that might be one of the reasons as well that sometimes it can be a struggle to kind of talk to family and friends. So we said, hey, let's combine it all together. Let's sit back at the table. So this month we are highlighting a very special person, but also a top caterer that is in both the Atlanta and Philadelphia area. She is also in the process of launching a book. So it was, of course, very important that we bought, some highlights to her. Again, her food is phenomenal. So, of course, we're going to highlight for you guys a recipe this month. And we will, of course, after this live, we will be providing this special recipe. But also, we're going to just share something special. Not only is this month sharing for, again, a recipe, we're also sharing something near and dear for Shamik, for she is launching a book. One of the things that's very interesting is that I said, and I asked her, we have to share something. So we will be sharing the link for Shamik's book, encouraging you to please click order. Also, she is sharing not only her autobiography of her being a caterer and her journey to doing so, as well as her in the process of opening up a restaurant. But she also shares some very unique things, just connecting recipes to the different stories and chapter. So I would be remiss if I did not share chapter 8 with you guys. And chapter 8 is Grandmom's Gone. So I just wanted to share a quick little insert with you guys and then also share with you what the recipe is that is paired with this chapter. So it's so ironic. I'm writing this on the second anniversary of my grandmother's death. May 19th, reliving is to tell this story is very hard. But she taught me to press through, and I couldn't believe that I got a phone call. Grandma had to be rushed to the hospital. It's not looking good, but I keep praying and saying that it will keep me posted. It was May the 14th, the beginning of the worst 5 days of my life. I waited, and when I got to the phone, that was all phone call that I needed to get to the hospital immediately. Please let me pause and tell you about my grandmother and what the next few days entailed. What amazes me about her is that she told my cousin before she left that morning that she wouldn't be here when she got back. She overcame many obstacles. So this response was something like, Grandmom, you'll be all right. I'll see you when you come back home. None of us knew that Grandmom and God had other plans. I drove that dreadful 1 hour and 45 minutes drive to York, PA, to Philadelphia in prayer. I believe God is always a maker of miracles and workers, but I also didn't want to pray selfish prayers. Yes, I needed her to be with me, but I also knew from the previous conversation that she was ready to go home. So many prayers, so many wills, but God, I trust you. For the next 5 days, I spent in hospice along with her and my loving family and just being there. I believe that I left her side for not one time for 5 days. In those 5 days, I took an opportunity to reflect on a major role that she played in my life. We had so many amazing memories. She was my first best friend. I remember at a very young age waking up to the smell of coffee, coming downstairs to her telling me that I couldn't have coffee because it was making me black. I watched her many Thanksgiving cooking chitlins and very special duck that my uncle was teaching me the importance of mac and cheese for every meal. To her sending me to the driver school and giving me first car, I just enjoyed time well spent with her, teaching me life's lessons and telling me and reminding me that I could do all that I could. That's why she also called me Nana Brown. One valuable saying that I will never forget is that she made sure that she told me over and over was Mama may have a Papa may have, but God blesses a child that has his own. Since her death, I have been determined and succeeding. I revamped my business to make sure that I honor her. I legally changed the name of my business to Nana Brown and use the knowledge she gave me with cooking every time I pick up a pot. Family dinners are not the same. Seeing her chair at the head of the table empty leaves a void, but I trust God and I believe that this day, 2 years ago, God said, well done. I decided to conclude this recipe because I remember that my grandmother saying that the most important dish was the mac and cheese. I can still hear her saying, if the mac and cheese ain't right, you can throw the whole dinner away in the trash. This recipe is a staple of the Black community and wanted to share my recipe and honoring my grandmother at the same time. She hopes that you enjoy. So I just wanted to take the time again to share that. Also, definitely encourage you guys to hit the links, making sure that you are pre-ordering her book, as well as making sure that this week we are sharing with you her mac and cheese recipe, encouraging you guys to start now, but also start practicing for Thanksgiving. Maybe this will be the mac and cheese that you use. So again, we definitely want to shout out Chef Meek Mills. Again, she is currently located in Atlanta, but she does serve surrounding areas, Philadelphia, Delaware, Maryland, and Virginia. So please make sure you check her out and please let us know after you make that mac and cheese. Make sure that you're hashtagging her and sharing with her. So I thought that, again, the reason that we were also, again, connecting her is also even saying, again, how does meals affect grief? How does meals bring families together? How are meals a part of memories? So just connecting and rolling with that today. We're also going to tie in. And again, before we talk about grief with you, Brittany, we want to give you an opportunity to talk about what is the importance of voting and why do we have the power?
Hey, thank you so much. You are a dope sister, and I'm so glad to be able to have this opportunity to speak with you and your viewers today about the importance of voting. As you may or may not know, Pennsylvania has an election coming up on November 2nd, which is this upcoming Tuesday. And it's the municipal elections. So I'll take a step back and talk about. I just had to plug that really quick, but yeah, important. The importance of voting is actually tapping in to a tool that can support us in our power that we have as a community. Sometimes our folks have, you know, shied away from it because it's like I'm not getting involved in that politics stuff, and it's literally throwing away an opportunity to see the changes that we want to see in our community.
Wow.
But we haven't used voting as a collective power. So individually, it's hard for us to view it as something that can move us forward because we haven't viewed it as a collective power to support someone that we want to see in office.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, what is one thing for the young generation, our generation? What's one thing about the importance of voting? What is one thing that you would say to someone that is not considering voting or would tell you that they don't vote or that their vote doesn't count? What kind of advice would you give to them?
Simply, your vote does count. I want to think about things. Think about what you have in your home. Think about having the resources and a place to live, something to eat, somewhere to work, a schools in your community. The basic necessities for us to live is tapped in to who is in power implementing the laws that impact us on our everyday life.
Wow. Okay. So, also, someone who is not registered to vote, how should they register to vote? What's the easiest way to register to vote?
So it varies from state to state. But if you're in Pennsylvania, you want to go to votespa.com and you can register online. You can visit any office, literally like elected official office, to obtain a paper form. But the easiest way I always say, because we're in the digital age,
Yes.
register online. If you literally go to Google and say register and vote, whatever city you want to live in, whatever city you live in, the application will come up. Literally,
Wow. So it's at your fingertips.
it's
So
at
there's
your
no
fingertips.
reason. It's at your
No,
fingertips. A lot of times there are different organizations that are setting up tables, that are knocking on doors, that are getting creative as they can to try to encourage people to vote. And the major
yeah.
reason that they're encouraging people to vote is also stating to you, this is how you have a voice. This is how you make changes. So for the everyday person that is, out and about and working, let's talk about, like you said, in a little bit more detail of the things that are currently going on in Pennsylvania. Let's talk about
Mhm.
Pennsylvania. And again, what are some of the things that are going on that, again, would help in the benefit of you voting, or again, that we would be a part of course, of being a part of that change or ensuring that things are a little bit different with our vote?
So, your first question in terms of what's happening in Pennsylvania right now, we vote every 6 months in Pennsylvania. I just want to put that out there first.
Wow. And most people don't know that.
People always talk about the presidential election. We vote every 6 months here, once in either April or May, because the election in 2020, the primary election was in 2020 was pushed back because of COVID. So we have a primary and a general election. The primary election is for the Democrat and the Republican decide who's going to be the elected, the top of the ticket, basically. So you're deciding who's going to be the one candidate that's going to represent that party in November. So you might see people, like, for an example, we had a primary election 2020, just to use the presidential race because that was the most recent. We saw Kamala Harris originally running for president. We had Joe Biden. We had all these different candidates, but only one person could become the primary candidate. So who is the primary candidate? It's chosen. Joe Biden was chosen. So
Yes.
after May, we went into the general, and then we're deciding who's actually going to represent us from each one of those parties, because you got the Democratic Republicans and you have the independent parties. They cannot participate in the primary. They can
Yeah.
only participate in the general election. So you have the primary, you have the three parties fighting to see who will win the top at the general. Currently in Pennsylvania, we are in municipal races. Statewide, we have our Supreme Court, which is the highest form of court in our court system.
Yes.
Right under that, we have our Superior Court, and then we have Commonwealth Court. Commonwealth Court only exists here in Pennsylvania. It don't exist nowhere else in the country. And then locally, if you're in Philadelphia, we have District Attorney. We also have Common Pleas Court, as well as City Controller. And I wish we had more time so I could break down what each one of these courts do, but I know we don't have that much time. So I just want to let people know, please vote. We have the opportunity right now to, just to give you an example, across the state, we only have one person of color on that is on Superior Court. We have nobody, no black representation on our Commonwealth Court or our Supreme Court as of right now. We have an opportunity to change that on every level. So that's how critical this is. Like, that's what we're facing right here. We're trying to get representation. Well,
Representation.
people that look like us and act like us, because some people that look like us, they don't act like us.
Correct.
You,
and that's what I wanted to ask you with, kind of just wrapping that part up, to literally say again, because I'm finding that a lot of younger people are not either educated, or they believe that politics is old, or it believes that it doesn't affect them. So in those cases, a lot of times I like to try to talk about the things that do affect them, and then remind them that this too is something that is affected by us voting. And this is why we need to vote. So even if we're talking about things that are going on in Pennsylvania, or things that are going on in Philadelphia, where both of us are currently based at this time, again, like you said, how or what are these different things? Because even saying it doesn't just affect people individually, it affects family members. A lot of times when you say, hey, why are you voting? There's like, hey, there's no point in me voting. And it's like, okay, even if you might not believe there's not a purpose of you voting, what about voting? And then you can also help and affect some things with your family as well. Because again, like you said, for us and our people, there are a lot of different things that we are experiencing day to day. And we're not realizing and understanding that the power in our vote, or us also going to the polls, is one of the things. It's not all, but it is definitely one of the active things that helps us make change. Also, like you said, encouraging people such as you and everyone else. Like I say, I always literally commend you, because most times younger people are like, politics is boring. Politics are life to you, and you breathe that life into us. So that's why I'm always even saying, I'm like, you are the prime person, and literally just saying, hey, let's keep it in layman's terms, or let's talk about how it affects a lot of times either the youth or the people in our families every day, to simply even say, hey, you're voting for judges. Hey, you're voting for people that are affecting, food or programming or different things in your community, your rec centers that are directly across the street where your children are playing, where your children may not be able to be safe. Again, this is why we have to go to the polls and encourage each other to vote, so that we can one by one, of course, make changes, but also outside of going to the polls and leading up to the polls. what are some other things that we can do as a community?
You can run for committee person. We need more people like me. I feel like I don't like being the only one of the only few black people that is involved in the political process. I don't like that. I want people that look like me, have gone through some of the struggles that I had in my life, and just decided that I really believe that I was pushed into politics.
Wow.
Because I don't just want a better life for myself and my family. I want a better life for my community. I want a better life for my city, my state, my country, for black people on every level. And I'm like, yeah, I could easily go and, be in the private sector, become a millionaire and toss out money. But money is not going to fix all of our problems. And that's where
Absolutely.
politics come to play, because there are laws that are in place that directly affect our communities that's keeping us in the struggle.
So let's talk about that. If you could talk about, and again, and this is why, and like you said, even I saved actually, after you actually talked to us about that, I also saved to the end because it's also connecting into you actually being a human being. Because for some reason, people, even again, the things that you do on a daily basis, the rooms that you sit in on a daily basis, and it's like, so she's actually like a regular person and she's not. And it's like most people think that, people that are working in politics for some reason, it's weird or they're uncomfortable or things such as that. So even again, you are changing the narrative, you're changing the stigma, but even reminding, like I said, let's talk about two things, like you said, happening in our communities today that again can be changed or affected by people voting. What are two things?
Mm, mm. There's so many. I just think about, I'm going to talk about, because this is something that I'm really, disgusted by, even with like big developers coming into our communities and the disenfranchisement and being forced out of our homes.
The gentrification.
Gentrification. I didn't want to say the word. I wanted, because some people don't know what gentrification is. So I want
Mm.
to put it in plain language, like, yeah, we're being forced out of our communities. There's big time developers that are making relationships with lawmakers in our communities that is getting the green light to do whatever they want in communities that we established.
Wow. And again, we don't get it. And the reason that I did say gentrification, because like you said, a lot of people don't know what it is. They may
Yeah,
hear it, they may not hear it, but then even when you are hearing it, we want you to be educated about what it actually is. Outside of you might come out your house and maybe you might see a new flower pot or you're going to see things definitely changing very
yeah, a
fast.
dog park, a coffee
Yep.
shop.
Yes. And again, you ask yourself, why weren't there dog parks or coffee shops prior to the gentrification?
Exactly.
Why are not coffee shops something that is extended to our community when we are just living there and maybe not some other people that are now coming into our communities that we've lived in for generations and generations. Also, even I'd be remiss if I even not talk about, like you said, even in the process of that, a lot of times with us, one of the reasons that we are losing things also in the process of this gentrification is because again, even we're not educated on how with these properties that we have to make sure that they are secured, making sure that we are having rights to it and that we're not at risk of people pushing us out. Not only it's one thing if they're pushing us out and paying us out, it's another to be pushing us out sneakily and actually doing it underhanded based on the things that we're not educated about. For example, again, I keep speaking about the incentive that currently right now in the city of Philadelphia that they're assisting with Mrs. Tracy Gordon that is specifically helping families with entangled titles. Um, and people and families with entangled titles are at huge risk of definitely being affected differently in a lot of the gentrification that is coming. Again, we are coming out of our houses, we are stepping over, and the individuals that are going to the dog parks or that are sitting on the sidewalks or different things like that, you are experiencing, unfortunately, the looks as if you are a guest in your community. So again, these conversations are according and encouraging first and foremost encouraging you and reminder of being educated and learning, but also even with your family, sharing these things, sharing the conversation today to go and vote, sharing the conversations today to update your paperwork, be aware of what's going on with your properties and vote. Like you said, the individuals that are in, place, the reason that they're making changes is because guess what? Everything requires a vote. Well, guess what? We don't ever even show up to the vote to even get a part of the vote
Yeah,
because we're
but I'm gonna take it a
automatically
step further. Meaning, I'm gonna take it a step further, man. Like, we can't just vote, man.
say it.
We cannot just vote. We gotta stop allowing people to make decisions for us.
Absolutely.
Elected officials work for us. We don't. They're not celebrities. They are
So wait, we're a part of the community. We're not like stragglers that they don't care about.
no.
Mm.
This is our community. These are our neighborhoods. These we have real concerns, and we like to say, "I'm gonna stay out of it." But I think it's a lot of us. I don't want to go too deep, but it's a poverty mindset.
No, go. We need to hear it. We need to
It's a
talk about
poverty
it.
mindset, and
Absolutely.
we have been so commercialized to think that material things are the outlet to our humanity and the growth of our communities. We have put us. We think it's just so deep. Like we watched it.
Yes.
We was together on Friday, and I just like,
Just trying to reach out and to do better, and or again, that is the whole reason for Own Your
yeah,
Mortality, to save our people, to prevent
save our people.
our people from in experiencing things that they've experienced in the past that someone they know has experienced. But again, even like you said, no different. Save our people to even say, hey, these are the things that are going on around you. No, you're not crazy. No, you're seeing the
Oh,
things that are in place, but we can do something about it. But even
yeah,
going back to even saying, we are kings and queens that are deserving, and these are our neighborhoods. We have raised generations and
yeah,
generations in these communities. Or I always say, just to kind of jump in on what you say, is that if you're waiting for the wand to get waved for somebody to come in and save you, it's
it's
not
not.
going to happen.
We gotta
We
save
have to
ourselves.
save ourselves.
We
We
gotta
have to
save
save
ourselves.
our families, our communities. It literally starts one person at a time, one
Hmm.
family at a time, one community at a time. And that is why we are building, 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 and or again, having the phenomenal people such as you that are doing
Yeah.
the ground and is working. So before we jump into one more thing and say again, are you a human being, even though that you're in politics and you're very educated and well versed with it? But also, I want you to share with everybody why you, at your age, why are you a activist? Why are you an organizer? Why do you eat and sleep politics? Why?
If I lost my job in 2012, 20 like 2010. Like I said, we vote every 6 months, but we seem to only care about the presidential election, and I was one of those people. So during a consider off year election, Obama's administration, the Democratic, when Obama was the president, um, you and that's why I say like political structure means everything, because you need the president, you need the Senate, you need the Congress, you need control of those three things to get the federal support that we need that trickles down to our communities. During that time of that, when we were selecting Senate and Congress, the Democrat lost majority control and then went to the Republican Party. When that happened, funds were depleted. HUD funding and different resources that was beneficial to our community lost a lot of funding because there are people that believe that we don't need these things, resources for and we don't deserve these things in our community. And so I was working in social services and I was laid off because of the funding. And that's what literally jump started me to care about politics because I was directly affected. And I think sometimes I hate that we always have to go through something for us to care. And that's why I'm trying to change that. I wanted to be the person who can change that narrative. Like, listen, y'all, I'm a real person. I still have real issues. When we get off this live, I have things to handle in my real daily life. You know, I'm not a robot, but I still care enough that at my age, 35, that I've made politics my life for my family and your family.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we need more people like you. And again, I commend you. And I literally scream to the mountaintops to even remind people of how educated you are. But literally, even again, I see you daily on the ground running. You are somebody that are helping my family, my friends' family, friends of a family, of anyone who's in the community. And like you said, needing to be educated or opportunity and or assistance of, like you said, even assisting. It's been a huge change with COVID and vice versa of the different things that we've been affected in within our households. And again, our communities. And again, even again with the elections and not elections, a lot of them sometimes they're getting worse. And part of the reason of even getting worse, again, as community members, we're not coming outside. We're not getting on the ground, and we're not actually volunteering and or trying to save our communities. We are wanting others from the outside to come in and come into our communities. And then we also get frustrated when they do come in our communities and they are recommending certain things that, again, are not versed for our community. So again, just encouraging everyone on here, first and foremost, to own your mortality and start today. Voting is actually part of owning your mortality because it's part of living your best life. A part of you having a voice, a part of you, again, coming to the polls on behalf of yourself, on behalf of your family members, on behalf of things, like you said, even things that we might personally not experience ourselves, but our family members are experiencing it. People in our community are experiencing it. So we'd be remiss if we didn't act like it doesn't affect us. Because I always says, when someone says I'm not voting, I say why. And they say it doesn't matter, it doesn't affect us. And then you say, well, where do you live? Or where do you eat? Or where do you work? And then in that case, yes, it is definitely something that is affecting us all. So Brittany, one of the things before we jump off of here, because you are a real person. And again, we are talking about owning your mortality, but also in owning your mortality and having conversations. One of the conversations that we always have is that me as the death care drone, we leave a little death awareness everywhere I go. And in the death awareness, I definitely wanted to just have a brief conversation with you and even say, so the activist, the organizer, the person who's running on the ground every day, she too has experienced a loss in her family. She too has experienced grief. And again, not to kind of go into long detail, because I know that it is something that is sensitive, but also just even again to speak out in reference to saying that who you are as an individual, or definitely someone who is just a normal person as well, and saying that no matter what position you have, no matter how much money you have, no matter where you live, at some point in time, we all experience losing a loved one. We all will experience transitioning whenever it is our time. So even with that, again, so you already need to be a superwoman and be an activist and an organizer every day. How do you do that? And you've experienced grief. How is it that it's something that you can do?
Well, just to give a little context, my life completely changed in April. I lost my father, and I lost in March. I lost a cousin, and in May, a week later after my dad, I lost a cousin, and they were all close family members. But losing my dad was like borderline about to make me go insane.
Yes,
Literally, like I lost a lifeline. I lost something. I lost a part of me that I won't get back.
absolutely.
But not to simplify it, but I just think that everything that happens to us in life, I feel like it's 90% how we respond. So
Wow.
I don't think that I'm fully healed from
Of course
my
not.
I don't think I'll ever be fully healed from losing a parent, but I've realized that, you know, I have to be honest about where I am and use my resources. Therapy, my God, praying, leaning on, think like I'm grateful to God I don't have to go through this alone. I have a sister, same mom, same dad, and we both experience the same thing. And so we have our moments where we cry together. I take my moments. I feel what I need to feel. I understand where I am. Like, you know what I mean? Like I but I still, when I think about my dad and how good he was to us, I think about what type of legacy I want to create to not
Wow.
only continue the path that he laid for us, but even go harder
Mhm.
to make him proud of me. Because it's like, Dad, you left, so you tasked me with being your living legacy
Wow.
and to continue your memory on this earth. I got some big shoes to fill, so I got some work to
Wow.
do. When they see me, they see him. I'm his twin. I
And
gotta
just
keep
know
going.
you're making him proud. You hear me? You're making him proud. You are, like I tell you, you're superwoman to me. You were superwoman before, but also being a daddy's girl, I can only imagine. I tell you, we're real all the time, and I know you'd be like, "Stop asking me, I'm okay," or different things like that. And it's definitely not anything, but literally, are you okay? Because it's okay not to be okay. And even
Yeah,
again, reminding that the work that you're doing and the things that you're doing is because you are worth it and you're worth
yeah,
healing. And I like your hat, and reminding everybody that you too are worth healing. We all at some point in time are going to experience things in our lives. And as Brittany said, and she hit it right on the nose. Again, it is not what happens to us sometimes in our life, but how we're going to react to it. And
hmm,
again, one of the opportunities of us, even again, reacting to things a certain way is, like you said, being educated, making plans, having conversations. Again, I don't care how many conversations that we have, losing a loved one, you're never going to be prepared
hmm.
for it.
No,
But I can definitely tell you, you will definitely have a totally different experience losing someone if you guys did not have certain conversations such as this, or again, even having conversations with you. Again, your dad prepared you and your sister. He prepared two warriors. And like you said, even the factor is that, and it's so prideful to even hear you say that you are tasked with the job of carrying your dad's legacy. And the
yeah,
reason I say that is because a lot of times, and I share all the time, that we believe that just because we have children that we leave a legacy. Mm-mm. You and your children got to put in some work to
hmm,
leave a legacy. It's a difference. But even like you said, even being prideful, and I know that your dad did an amazing job raising you, because again, you saying that you have the task and you know that each time, even when you don't feel like showing up, you show up, because again, you are a representation of your father. You
yeah,
are a representation of yourself. You are a representation of your family, generations and generations and generations. And just again, this is why we have these conversations, or again, encourage, our families to go back to the basics. Sit down
mm,
at the table and
yep,
start eating dinner
yeah.
again.
My grandmom, when we went to our grandmom house mostly every weekend, and we had a routine. Like we had our placemats. I knew what the kids' placemats were and the adults. Like I took joy in setting the table.
Yeah, yo,
It was fun. Like,
it
you know
was
what I mean?
fun,
And,
right?
and you know what we don't realize is that we're training kids up. We can still allow children to be children, but if we do little things, we will set them up that they take those, responsibilities and use them as resources as adults.
Absolutely. And they will
That-
be okay in life. That is
yes.
our responsibility to teach. And like you said, something simple, even small things. People are like, well, where'd you learn how to cook? How'd you learn
Yeah.
how to keep a house up? And I literally say, I watched the people that were around me, my
Yes.
parents, my grandmother, whomever. Like you said, there was not lock the kids away, put them somewhere.
No.
No, the children were involved. I sat at the table. I cut potatoes. I strained string beans. I
Yes.
watched
My great grandma,
baseball.
oh my gosh, like chopped them. You had to chop it up, whatever. But I have a great legacy of strong women. Like I
Yes.
watched my mom work, so I work.
There
Like
you go. There you go. And I say the same thing because, like you said, I watched my mom work. We watch our grandmothers work, or
yeah,
even like you said, even again, this tribute, like I said,
yeah,
even calling this Sunday dinner at my grandma's house. We too, in my family, my grandmother is the matriarch for both my mother's mother who passed away, but then my grandmother, my father's mother that is still living, literally.
mm,
Anytime something, if you ain't got nowhere to go, if you are down and you are sad or however, guess where you
yeah.
can go? Granny's
I
house.
think that we're in a space now, and I love because I like my age.
Yeah.
We the same age. I think we're
Oh,
in.
I'm grateful for our
I'm
generation.
so grateful because I think we're not so free that we forget the discipline, and we got to
Absolutely.
balance. And I think not to come at my Gen Zers, I love y'all so much, but
Absolutely.
we are getting away from a space where we don't want to hold people accountable or create a level of boundaries and discipline to make us
Absolutely.
whole. It's like we just
Absolutely.
want to be like, oh, we're free. We're this. You need you need freedom, but you need discipline as
You need
well.
discipline. You
You
need
know what
to
I mean?
know how to survive on a day-to-day basis. You need to be able to, like you said,
Listen,
be fruitful. You need to know that even, excuse me, you learn that even when some days you're not motivated or some days you don't feel like again or no,
yeah,
you got to keep your house clean. You got to go vote. You have to have
yes,
conversations. We have to take care of our business. We have
yes,
to get insurance. We have to have these conversations about wills and different things. We have to be upfront and honest about those things. And like you
exactly.
said, again, it is a part of our families. It's a part to ensure we're talking about a legacy continue. And in order to continue a legacy and to ensure that it is protected, one, you need to teach, you need to be an example, but you also need to handle your business and ensure that things are written and documented a certain way. So that, in fact, if you do have children, so in fact, of whoever your next of kin is, they do have the ability to be able to, like you said, carry on these legacies. Yes, we are getting in the comments definitely that you're needing balance, that you are there. The chat is reminding you that you are representing your father very, very
Mhm.
well, and you are out here and showing.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that you see it. And I'm sorry, I did miss one other when we were talking about it. And you guys hit it right on the nose. When we were talking about gentrification, they were also talking about how in so many communities, they're literally coming in and they're raising the rent so high that
Yeah,
nobody can afford it. But again, that's strategically planned for a reason. It is to keep a certain kind of person out and or to
yes,
get them out, like you said, again, so they can change these communities and environments. But unfortunately, it's even sad to say, because I always even ask, as someone who is being prideful about being a Black queen, why is it that our communities are needing to be gentrified? Why is it that our communities, again, are not able to have, we have dogs. We want to walk our dogs. We
yeah.
want to not have to
Systematic
drive.
racism and oppression is
Absolutely.
the complete answer for that, and we've allowed it. The thing, for so long, and it's
For
like
so
a
long.
comfortable. It's like we're comfortable. It's like we know that that is a abandoned building right there next to our house, and it's like,
And that's
okay,
cool. That's
that
cool.
ain't my problem. That ain't my
Because
problem.
literally now, like you said, we're even giving a landmark. Like, hey,
Yeah,
I'm right next to the abandoned house, instead of saying, hey, how do we or what do we need to
yeah.
do?
Like, can we get like this gentleman walked into my office the other day, and I'm not going to take up too much time, but he was like, "Look, it's a mural out next to my house, and they're trying to build a house next door. That's not going to work because that is a staple in our community." I said, "Okay, sir, let's get on the phone with city council." I was so excited. Like, take the first steps. You don't have to know all the answers. Take the first steps, and this is a part of owning your mortality, as you said. Love your community, love your people, love your families, and love what you do.
love what you do, and come together. Guys, this has been a phenomenal live. We've definitely shared some different information. I am encouraging you to please, 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 please share this. If in fact you were not able to tag in your family members or vice versa, it's totally fine, because guess what, this replays and you can forward it. So we're encouraging you to do so. I'm also going to encourage you to make sure that you are following Brittany. If there are any specific questions and concerns that you have that is specific, if you want to know how can you get involved, how can you help, please contact her, contact me, whomever. There's always an opportunity for you to get involved in even having fun, because again, people don't even realize. I remember when we were even just preparing and making sure that people knew about this on Friday, what did we have the opportunity to do? Not only encourage people to vote, not only encourage people to educate themselves about what's going on in their community and how it's affecting them and their families, but we also were able to socialize together, have a great time, laugh,
Yes,
and
it can be
dance.
fun.
And it can be fun. I don't even
Yes.
understand why it can't be fun. I mean, it is
Love,
fun.
joy, and power.
There you go. Leave it there. Love, joy, and power. Again, guys, I want to make sure that you again are following Brittany. I want to thank her for coming on here today. As we are wrapping up, I do want to give people to have the opportunity. I'm not sure if you do have any quick questions and concerns or any love that you would like to leave for Brittany. Please do so at this time. While you're doing so as well, just reminding you to please make sure that you are liking, following, and sharing on your mortality, so we too can continue to bring amazing guests to you like this on a monthly and weekly basis. We're also, again, we always ask and we leave and say, hey, if there's a specific question or concern and or a topic and or things that you are needing to be receiving additional information on, please feel free to just drop us a comment, drop us a DM, send us an email, so we can also make sure that we are getting that information out to you as well. So we're going to end this live in a few things. We're going to say on November 2nd, what should you be doing? Voting. But also we're reminding you, even after November 2nd, every 6 months, if you're in the state of Pennsylvania and or surrounding states, but then also encouraging you to please even make sure that whatever state that you're in, you should be educated on, again, how often you should be voting, where you're expected to be. Even if you're not, find out where you can get some additional information, just so you know exactly how it goes. But again, you can also find out some information, again, following on your mortality, liking us again, and or sharing us. Also making sure that with Brittany as well, you are following up with her. Tap in with us this week. We will be providing follow-up information. You're going to see us at the polls. We're also
Yes.
making sure, and we're asking you, when you're going out on November the 2nd, we're wanting you to make sure that you're taking a picture. You're also tagging us, and we're hashtagging that you've got the power. Okay. We're asking you
Yes.
guys to show up, to show up, to show up. If you're not showing up for yourself, show up for a family member. If you're not showing up for a family member, we're asking you to show up for the community, because we need you. We're coming together, we're one, and we're also all worth healing. So we're also asking that everybody is just in doing so, because a lot of times that's where we're not able to have certain conversations, because there's a lot of hurt or a lack of different understandings within our family. So first and foremost, it's our responsibility individually to heal. Then as a whole, we can heal as far as family and community, but in addition to, it can again just help us grow as a whole. So we thank you, thank you, thank you for joining us today. We're also going to again be encouraging you to make sure that you check and follow up. We're going to get this recipe over to you. We also are launching that in time for you to start getting prepared for Thanksgiving. So we want you throughout the week checking in with us. We need to know who's cooking Thanksgiving dinner. We need to know what you're going to be talking about. So I hope you're getting ready, because we're going to have something great for you again coming up again last Sunday in November. So make sure you're staying in contact with us and make sure you jump on. We bid you a good Sunday. Brittany, I appreciate you. I'm sending all love to you in Philadelphia. And again, sending all of our viewers, wherever you are located, we appreciate you tapping in, and we will see you next month. Have a great one.
Thank y'all. Love y'all.
Have a good one. Bye.